welcome to Premier League Poker 5 from the stunning Austrian capital, Vienna. The final table is underway, and tonight we crown the Premier League champion.
The quest to be Premier League champion began with 16 players.
The cards are going to be flying off the table soon.
They're going to go nuts when they see this.
That's the way to do it.
I had the G on the ropes there, and you've just told them you had the nuts.
It's driving me crazy.
I got to deal with the stare down just to steal a freaking blind.
Ace King, you're good. You're good. You've got the best hand, whatever happens.
Oh, God, come on.
I mean, what the hell?
I'm not getting any respect.
You are the best, Tony G.
It's bike time.
Curiosity's killing me.
Come on, let's see the river.
Wow.
I'm not going to listen to Tony anyway. Clearly has no idea what he's doing.
That's pretty cool.
Come on, let's go!
Oh, sweat. Everyone's a winner.
Only 8 progressed through to the final table. Patrik Antonius, Jungleman, Tony G, Mathew Frankland, Sam Trickett, Tom Dwan, Phil Laak, and Scott Seiver. It was Sam Trickett who started off well, taking a big chip lead after the first level, but things soon started to unravel for the Brit.
Uh-oh, this could spell big trouble for Sam Trickett. He's got the ace king of hearts. Folks, it's a premium hand. If he doesn't double up Patrik here, I'll be very surprised.
Call.
Well, there you go. It's going to be a double up for Patrik Antonius.
Trickett went on to lose another big pot to Tony G.
I only play the nuts. That's all I play. Everyone knows that. Good luck.
And he was then the first to be sent to the rail by Daniel Jungleman Gates. The next big drama was between Phil Laak and Tony G.
Yeah, I don't think Tony G's getting away from it. The quick AI, and now Phil Laak will have to have a count.
I'm probably going to get land blasted that I'm slow rolling it, but I just want to survive, and this is no fun.
Wow, he's done it. He's going to be happy when he
I'm in
finds this
shock.
out.
Oh, I'm in great shape. Wow.
You're going to hear somebody scream when this pot is over.
Jack right on the flop. It's come king, jack, 8, all clubs. Tony G does have a flush draw. Tony needs that club or 10 to win the pot. Doesn't happen. 3 of diamonds comes off. Phil Laak is going to more than double up here. And Tony G back in dismay.
For Phil, it was almost on the line there. It could have been all over for you. You even said at the table, you know, I just want to survive, and you still made the call.
Yeah, I really wanted to fold, but I couldn't because I would have to go home because I'm not playing cards. I mean, there's a certain point where you just have to do what's right, but I really, really hated it. I was sick. And then it was a race, and I won. And I'll tell you, I would have preferred to win that pot from someone else because Tony G's, the air is out of his sails a little bit. When he's got talking chips, he's entertaining. And I like being entertained just like the next guy, you know?
It's for real money. It's really serious stuff.
This is the nuts.
I like Patrik's watch. It's the most expensive watch I've ever seen.
I'd love to fold. Love to. Give anything to fold.
You mind I go to the toilet while you think about it? I know it's going to be a long decision.
Jack, they're going to tilt me.
I'm dropping the hammer.
Taking us through all the final table action are your hosts, Jessie May and Mike Sexton.
I'm honored to be alongside of Mike Sexton for what I feel has just been the most prestigious tournament I've ever been involved in. Now the final table of Premier League Poker 5. And Mike, we know we started with some of the best poker players in the world. It was very tactical through the heat stages, but now at this final, we're just seeing pure poker guys going for the trophy.
Well, we thought the most aggressive players at the table would be Sam Trickett and Tom Dwan, and that has been the case. Other players playing very conservative early on. Going to be interesting to see if they change their tactics as they get down to shorthanded play.
And of course, so much money to play for, plus that trophy, so much prestige when you're talking about the best players in the world. Let's see how the chips now are arranged around the table.
Looking at the leaderboard, Jungleman now has over 600K, but Antonius isn't far behind with just under 600,000. It's tight at the top and tight at the bottom. And there's plenty more drama guaranteed at this final table.
There's some action going on the other side of the table, which, in my mind, very well may have broken the cardinal sin, crossed the ethical line. Tom Dwan ordered some food, and Phil Laak ate it. He started eating Tom Dwan's fries. You can't do that at a poker table, Mike.
That is borderline unethical. I agree with you. Well, Tony G Picking up the ace-jack. He's going to raise it. Let's see how much.
Raise 21.
21,000.
Losing that pot against Phil Laak knocked him back a little bit, Mike. He's on 30 big blind stack, which is precarious, but not as short as Scott Seiver, who's only got 20 bigs.
Oh, look at this. Scott Seiver picking up 2 kings. This could spell big trouble right here.
He's just called. He has just called from the small blind. Is that to get Patrik on the hook, or is it to fool Tony G?
No, he was hoping that Patrik would make a squeeze play right there. He is looking to get Patrik Antonius, who's outplayed him all day. Didn't work right there. He slipped right out. Now he's only up against Tony.
Check.
Well, he's going to check. It's over to Tony G. He checks also. He's just not going to get involved with this guy.
That's sorry.
Scott has bet 30,000 now.
It's big decision time for Tony G, Mike. I mean, there's not a huge amount of hands out there that Scott would have called pre-flop, where the flop would have helped him.
You're never going to put him on a big pair because he didn't re-raise pre-flop. So you can understand why Tony's calling there.
Check.
Well, now this is going to get checked down. A dream situation for Tony G.
Well done. Played it well. Sorry that your like ace-jack didn't get there or whatever.
Wow, how good is that? Put him right on the ace-jack.
The war of words has started. Tempers are rising, and Seiver maybe didn't win as many chips as he could, but he's managed to win as much, shall we call it, sweat equity as possible. He's put Tony G into the sweat box.
Well, don't think Patrik Antonius didn't pick up on how that hand was played. Where Scott Seiver just called a raise with 2 kings with him sitting behind him, thinking he might make a squeeze play. He was after Patrik there more than Tony, believe it or not.
One of the best I've ever seen. I've seen some bad.
You've seen some good
card
ones?
handling techniques. Yes, guys that are in the top of their class.
Tony G, though, first to strike with cards
Wow,
off the
Seiver now on a bit of a card rush.
Boy, is he ever.
And Mike, you know,
all week this week?
this looks like, with Scott talking, now being on the
He's
button,
been in the booth watching our
if you're Antonius, you have to think Seiver's just raising here with anything.
Well, he's finally got a shot to get Patrik, maybe. Patrik looks like he's going to make a move at this pot and 3-bet it with an ace-4 offsuit. And indeed, that's what he's done. 55,000. This is what Scott's been dreaming about. Getting some money back off Patrik Antonius.
The dynamics, of course, far different, Mike, from the situation when Seiver had the jacks. This is a 3-bet, not a 4-bet. Stacks aren't as deep.
Well, he's gone all in, Seiver. I don't blame him. Not going to get outplayed this time. And Patrik will be going out.
Doom. And Scott Seiver.
Did you see the look that Patrik gave him there after he moved all in? It's like, I'll be seeing you again.
We'll be back after the break as the Party Poker Premier League Poker 5 final continues here in Vienna. Welcome back to Vienna. Tonight, the Premier League Poker 5 final table continues, and we will crown a new champion.
Patrik Antonius obviously still in great shape in this final table, Mike, but he has dropped about 75,000 in chips since his peak.
And the Jungleman out in front.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not.
With over 600,000 in chips.
I don't mind like medium rare, medium whatever.
The bottom 3 guys all pretty close in chips. Right around 240,000. That would be Matt Frankland, Tony G, and Tom Dwan.
I don't mind it actually rare, but that's like.
22.
I think
Exactly.
Well, now this is a big decision time here for Scott Seiver, Mike. Ace-Jack's obviously a hand you could re-raise with. How tight does he think Laak is playing? Is he playing as tight as he talks, is what I'm saying?
Well, Seiver's picked up on it because he is 3-betting with the ace-jack over a guy that's played very few pots at this table, Phil Laak.
But he's right. Laak's holdings are weak. And for Matt Frankland, in the heats, Mike, he picked off a couple spots like this where he decided to make cold 4-bets. If he knew the cards that were out on the table, he would pull it. He's pulled the trigger.
Wow.
He's pulled the trigger.
Matt Frankland has played tight as a rock all day long. All of a sudden, 4-bets with a king-10. Just incredible against the two guys that have played as tight as he has at this table, Phil Laak and Scott Seiver.
He found the spot, Mike. He found the spot. This is a Chris Moorman special. That's his mentor. These are what the young UK players do. And wow, Frank, I mean, to have the poise and confidence to pull the trigger there, you gotta say that's why he's here.
Well, just hasn't made any moves like that all day long and picked the perfect time
I appreciate that.
to move all in over the top of 2 razors in front of him. That was something.
That's Team UK for you. Lines are going to go up to 7 and 15,000 now, Mike. Jungleman and Antonius still have the top 2 spots, but you know, for Scott Seiver, and now Phil Laak is even only going to be on about 20 big blinds.
Well, since that double up where he had 460 or 70,000, Phil Laak has just gone straight down, and now he's sitting in 6th place with just over 300,000 in chips. 4 of them sitting on about 300,000.
I mean, a ton of the time you're folding it like, you know, you're only really raising
He's petered away. You know, I think there were a lot of people who were kind of, when they saw the Premier League lineup, looking forward to sort of Tony G having a go at Daniel Cates, seeing if he could make Daniel lose his sort of infamous temper. But they were different groups. And I just wonder now if Tony might just ratchet it up a little bit here at this final table, see if he can get Jungleman off his game.
Well, now he's got a tough decision as to what to do. He's got the king-queen suited, but Frankland has made it 30,000 to go.
And Frankland is on just exactly 20 big blinds. I believe if he gets re-raised here, he may go with the hand. I don't know, Mike. It may be close.
You can see Jungleman trying to contemplate what to do, if he's going to raise it, how much. Looks like he's getting out raising chips. The green chips, 25,000 each.
80.
Well, he's made a size where if Frankland re-raises all in, Jungleman cannot pass. So I guess he's committed here. And just the question will be, is Frankland? What do
he's re-raised to 80,000 here.
Yep.
And Tom Dwan, he just never wants to give up a hand, this guy. Just has the king-6. It's been raised and re-raised, and he's trying to figure out how he could win it.
What should Frankland do in your mind here? Is it marginal or is it easy?
I think it's very marginal. He's gone all in. I think it's the best play. If you're going to play the hand, that's what you have to do. And I think Jungleman might be pot committed here with the king-queen.
Well, the one thing Jungleman, in my mind, should not have done, Mike, is ask how much is it. If he wanted to know how much it was, the proper time for that was before he made the first move in this hand.
Well, what he's doing is going to count up.
Right. Yeah,
he's made the call.
He knew he was called. You can't make that play and then pass.
Well, we got a race, folks.
Can't do it.
And it could be for Frankland's tournament life.
Best case you could be in.
It's king-queen versus 2 7s here.
Well, are you serious? Like ace-king would have been. Solid. It's a great call. It's a great play. 2 7s. Wow. Great plays from both. 7 from heaven.
Tony G providing commentary in the middle. This is all Frankland flop.
There's no bad beats.
Well, 10-5 deuce is the flop. So far, so good for Frankland. Got to dodge a king or a queen or 2 running cards to make a straight. And a queen comes off on the turn. Heartbreak temporarily for Matt Frankland, no doubt about it. He now must catch a 7 to win this pot to stay alive in this tournament.
That lady, the big bad wolf.
And the king comes on the river. Where Jungleman hits it twice, means nothing. I thought Matt Frankland played that hand well, just unfortunate for him. A, that Jungleman called him, and B, that he lost the race. And with that pot, Jungleman jumps way out in front with nearly 900,000 in chips.
Having come up through the global qualifiers to the Premier League main event, then to the final table, and now taking 145,000 for your trouble. You were so dominant in the earlier heats as well. How did the final go for you?
Nothing really went my way at the start. I don't think I was I got bluffed maybe once or twice, but I just think I was kind of running into it mainly, and then when I had hands, people were just not having anything as well, so not great really.
Let's take a 2-minute break.
Deal.
No, let him go to the bathroom if he needs to go. What are you guys talking about? Let the guy go to the bathroom if he needs to go to the bathroom.
If he wants to go to the bathroom, let him go. Warren, let the guy go to the bathroom.
Well, I happen to agree with the other players. You go to the bathroom on scheduled breaks. If you want to go between breaks, you just miss a hand or two if you have to.
Are you kidding me or what?
You're trying to put him on tilt on top of it. Well, I was at a final table in Atlantic City one time, and Phil Hellmuth was there, and he wanted everybody to take a timeout so he could go to the bathroom. And Kenny Flayton, I don't know if you remember him, he said, no way that we're going to let him.
I remember the tournament, Surinder Sunar was...
Yeah, he was. He screamed at the tournament director and said, look, he's got to schedule his breaks like everybody else. Do not stop the tournament. And they did not stop it for Phil Hellmuth. Give him credit. He's on the short stack, but he's not stopping betting. At least right now, but this might stop him right here, Tony G.
I'd say G might put the stoppers in.
Yeah.
Wow, Mike. Tony G's trying to do to Seiver what Seiver did to him. Do you remember earlier, Seiver slow played the kings against Tony G, and Tony wants to return the favor.
Well, what he's really hoping is that Dwan tries to make some kind of squeeze play right here.
Well, Tom Dwan has lizard eyes. If he opened his mouth and if he had said the words, he would have been roasted.
Well, he just calls. So we have three-way action here. And it comes 8-6-4 with two clubs. No help to anybody. Dwan has a gut shot straight draw, of course.
How do you like your kings now? I tell you what, if you're Tony G, you only like them as long as people are calling. If they start raising, you start fretting.
Believe me, Tony G's heart is pumping right now. 45. This is not the dream flop he wants to look at. Somebody could have a flush draw, trips, straights. But nobody has anything, so he's going to pick up the pot.
That was the best result for Tony G. Let's see the smile.
Can't beat it.
Let's see the smile.
Just keep bluffing, mate.
Well, he was hoping that Tom Dwan would take the bit right there and try the big squeeze play.
It was a nice idea, wasn't it?
It's a very nice idea. And it's really a good idea with Dwan sitting in the big blind.
Tony G's got the kings again.
Unbelievable.
I mean,
Kings.
Yeah, somebody's going to slip up. Somebody is bound to slip up.
Yeah, I don't see anybody slipping up here. Nobody has anything. And this is going to be very frustrating for Tony G. Well, I take it back. Patrik, we've seen him make some moves with ace-4s already. That's one of the hands he likes to play.
What kind of history do Patrik and Tony G have, I wonder? Obviously, they were in different groups in this Premier League, but they certainly go back a few years in the top tier gambling.
I would guess they haven't had a lot of history. They might have played on a high-stakes cash game once or so, but Patrik is going to make the call. And Tony G finally getting some action on the kings. Let's see if he wants it.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Ace, ace, four. A full house for Patrik Antonius.
Mike, this is going to get ugly. I do believe that these cards are going to get shown. And I think that Zasko, who now rests on the top of Tony G's chips, might find himself out in the dog pound.
Well, let's go and check again on the turn. How can he check kings twice here? Now the 3 of clubs comes off. Patrik has to make a bet here at this pot, doesn't he? Man's checked twice in a row. He's checking again.
Checked again? Oh no! Tony G's taking the bait!
Bet 40.
He took the bait!
Well, he took the bait, and now he's going to be so angry because
he's hooked.
He's not going to see the hand. Obviously,
I don't know.
unbelievable that Patrik checked the third time there, knowing how quick Tony G was checking behind him.
Mike, I mean, this could be the end of Tony. How big is Patrik going to raise right now?
When he raises, Tony's going out, I promise you. And Tony's going to be kicking himself for betting here. He checked it twice. He just couldn't stand it a third time. Well, look at all the time.
Right now, there's a quiet on the table. There's a calm, and it's only the calm before the storm.
Raise.
Well, look at this. Tony's shaking his head. He knows he's been had.
What a slippery play by Patrik, and just outstanding. I'm trapped, Tony says. I know I'm trapped.
Yeah. Look at the size of the raise too. 140,000, 130,000. This is just like a frustration call here. That's a bad call by Tony, I think. Patrik's just not going to make a play here in that spot without an ace in that spot at a minimum.
Kings. Hold on, Patrik. That's the patience.
Oh, he hates that. That could have been his Premier League.
I got king.
Checked, checked, checked. And the flop just hated him, Mike.
Incredible. What a dealer this guy is.
How could you play the hand any better? Checking 3 times in a row. Finally, Tony takes the bait and fell right in the well.
He was drawing dead on the flop.
You're the best.
I mean, with 2 kings, Antonius checked it 3 times, Mike. It's like he knew what Tony had.
Well, just incredible. I think anybody would have bet that hand after the guy checked a couple times to you. You're finally going to bet 2 kings. Just amazing. He didn't have to pay off the extra 130,000 though.
I mean, help me, help me. We're down to 6 here at the Montesino in Vienna. The Premier League poker final table continues after the break.
Welcome back. We're in Vienna for this season's Premier League poker, and tonight the final is playing out. We're down to 6 players, all in contention for the championship title.
Tony had vaulted into second chip position at one time at this final table, and now he's just spiraling downward.
Hold.
6.
And both, Dwan, Seiver, Tony G, they're all on short stacks here. Phil Laak has chipped up a little bit. Now we've seen from Phil Laak that he's been just finding some good spots to. Oh, no, this is not a good spot.
This is unbelievable.
Not a good spot at all. And he might not be able to pass for the re-raise. Phil's going to ask what the price is here.
Well, just incredible.
38 times 2 is around 70.
I think Tony G's going to double up. He's getting over 6 to 4, Mike. Many would consider that a price. If they don't think Tony G is ultra tight, what do you think?
I think you fold it.
Matt, you mind to go to the toilet while you think about it? I know it's going to be a long decision.
Yeah, go ahead, go to the bathroom. You can go to the bathroom.
All right, make sure they don't deal the next hand. I'm going to go too, okay?
That's fine, yeah. 143. Is it 143 he said?
Well, he's trying to compute the odds. Is he getting the proper price to make the call? That's what these math geeks do. But he realized 103 out of his stack is going to put a big dent in it.
Yeah, that's what he wants to. That's what he wants to evaluate. Not just what the price he's getting is, but how many chips it'll leave him with should he lose. The answer, Mike, would be. I guess he'd have about 220,000 if he calls and loses.
And he's actually getting about what, $1.70 or so on his money, so he could justify a 3-2 call here.
Yeah.
If he puts a guy like ace queen.
143 to collect 221.
Well, he better hope that donkey just kicks him right there. Just get out of this pot. Get out, get out, get out.
Has he made a decision?
Well, this is like the only hand that he's really a severe underdog to, obviously. Aces or kings. There's only 2 hands he's a severe underdog. Otherwise, he's getting about the right price to make the call, believe it or not. Doesn't matter what else the guy would have.
I can so easily just be.
Come on, Phil, that's enough.
I'm sorry, kid. I'm not
Come
torturing
on, buddy. No, you can keep stuffing around like with that ace jack, and now you're getting.
How about this? Tony G's now trying to talk him into calling. He's trying to talk him into calling.
It's 143 for 221.
He'll do whatever he can.
All right, you win.
Wow.
Wow. Tony G should have just dummied up right there. Why would he say a word?
143 to collect 221, and I don't think I'm supposed to do it. That's all it is. But it takes me a little bit longer to find it.
I'll tell you what, Mike, the only explanation is that Phil Laak got a read off Tony G. Because the price was there, wasn't it?
It was close anyway.
It was
but
close. It was close.
Even if it's the right price, do you want to jeopardize that many chips at this stage when you don't have to? I wouldn't think so with a king-8, but he may have made the call. We saw him make the call with the ace-jack when we didn't think he was going to make it against Tony. And Tony would have loved to have got him back right there, but he should have just dummied up and not said anything. Well, the donkey obviously just nudged Phil a little bit there and pushed him back away from the table and said, don't you dare call this.
An open shove by Tom Dwan from the button. If he gets called, he's in trouble because.
Well, he's going to get called here.
He's getting called.
Well, Scott Seiver's got to make a play with something. He's going to make it against this particular player who raises all the time with nothing. Seiver in great shape right here. These 2 guys have almost exactly the same amount of chips.
If you're Scott Seiver in that spot, Mike, you know that it's very likely you're racing, but you know there's also a possibility that Dwan would have an undercard. That's the spot he's got himself in now.
Well, it's come Jack 8-5, so good. So far, so good for Scott Seiver out in front with the 2 sevens.
7's like you're protecting the 7 there.
And this could be.
Well, a 3 comes off. Tom Dwan must have a king. You heard Tony G needs the butcher of Baghdad, which is a king. Doesn't get it as the queen comes off.
I guess the spade. Yeah, I was gonna say I thought I noticed the spade part.
So Scott Seiver is going to double up, and Tom Dwan is down to the cloth.
The cold, cruel felt there for Dwan. He's not going to have, if he does have any, they'll count him up to make sure, but if he does have any, it's only going to be 1 or 2 big blinds. But for Scott Seiver, Mike, waking up there and keeping himself alive.
Well, the patience of Seiver paying off. Waited a long time.
Want to swap some?
Finally doubled up right there. Tom Dwan on life support right now.
Okay, I was going to say.
Tom's actually saying that this is not a tournament situation he's very familiar with. He doesn't know very much at all about 1 to 2 big blind strategy, he's saying. And I can understand why Tom wouldn't want to do too much studying about it anyway.
Well, he moved all in with the ace high here. Got the ace-7 of clubs. Pretty good hand in this spot. I would expect at least 1 or 2 guys to look him up here. There's going to be 1 with the queen 5. Patrik Antonius. It's 26,000. Tony G going to try.
He only
makes the call.
6, yeah.
I'd rather Patrik just make it at 80. I can fade 1 person instead of 2.
Well, an opportunity to triple up here for Dwan.
And if he goes out, the other players will all move up the pay scale and go out. I think he's going to because G's just flopped 3 8s.
Yep. Even though he's flopped aces.
About the 8s.
No way.
Yeah.
Yep. Dwan can't believe it. He now needs an ace to win this pot.
You hit the ace, you win.
Still have an out.
Not really.
You still got an out.
Well, a king comes off. Tom Dwan needs an ace on the river, or he's going to be our 6th place finisher.
Date with an 8. Yes! Come on! Now we come with a run.
Yeah.
He's been great in this Premier League, Tom Dwan.
I do have
He missed the first 3 levels of the very first heat, but from that point on, he has been awesome.
Thank God the manager brought Zaska.
He has been classy, Mike, and he has really opened our eyes to some great poker. And Tony G, who has been up, down, emotional. He's the short stack here right now, Mike, but with only 5 players left, you wouldn't count him out.
Well, he was down to last place just a few minutes ago and just shoving chips in every time. Of course, he had a hand to do it every time, but Tony G just picking up that pot and happy to do it, and happy to see Tom Dwan hit the rail.
This is the Montesino Casino in Vienna, and Mike, at the same time as this Premier League Poker Final is going on, the WPT is in town. This place is just going to be packed and rocking.
Yeah, the joint is jumping, no doubt about that. Vienna, the eyes of the poker world are on Vienna today.
And for a couple of years now, an iconic stop on the World Poker Tour, Vienna, this casino. There's so much action around. Players come from all over. They're treated very well here. The number of cash games that have been going every night.
Yeah, hats off to the Montesino Casino for the job they've done in organizing and putting on both the Premier League and the WPT event.
It's certainly one of my favorite venues in Europe these days, and poker has been thriving here for the last several years.
And the schnitzel as well. Is that what it's called?
You never run out of schnitzel. You don't, Donnie.
And it's actually good. I like it.
You're looking for yeah, I agree.
You can. Oh wow, we've really got it. We've really got action here. It's been check on the flop after the raise and call pre-flop, and this is pretty much a bingo card for both players, Mike.
Well, it's an amazing card. I think Antonius will check raise here. He's got top pair and a flush draw. Jungleman has the best hand, however, with 2 kings and a queen kicker. The question is, how much heat can he take?
And you know, among the different things he could do, he could have made the big raise. He could have just gone all in. That would have been...
Against the other player, he might have done that. This is the chip leader he's up against, the only guy that can bust him at the table. Now the 4 comes off. As the cards lie, the Jungleman is going to take down another pot.
There's 230 out there. He could put out a big bet, but this is dicey. I mean, there are... obviously several hands that beat him out there. Kind of has to put Patrik on.
Well, he believes his kings with the queen kicker is the best hand, and he is going to make a big bet to prove it.
He's right. And now we're going to get to see how good a sniffer Antonius has. How often would Jungleman bet here without a hand that beats him? How often is he bluffing? How much value does the king have?
Well, he could have easily had a diamond draw here and just be bluffing on the river. If he's just got 2 kings, would he really bet this much on the river with just 1 pair? Patrik in a tough spot here. This a tough laydown. Notice there's now 385,000 in the pot. Patrik's going to make the call. Jungleman makes that bet and gets value for it. That was bold, folks, and that was a great play by the Jungleman there.
Big, bold, and bountiful. And for Daniel Jungleman Cates right now, he's cracked the 1 million mark. He's really had no backward steps, Mike, at this final table so far. And he's got everybody paying him off.
Well, so far in the Premier League, I started out pretty well with 2nd and 3rd, and then I got 7th with my 3rd match. So I actually had to sweat the last heat, and it ended up going as good as I could. I prefer the lineup to the final table to my previous heats, but it's still, you know, it's still not like a walk in the park. I still have to play well in order to win. I think I'm like a small favorite in the game. I don't think I have the best chances out of anyone necessarily. I think it's going to be close overall in general. It'd mean a lot for me to win it. It'd be my first ever tournament title, and I mean, the money would be good, but like, I've been trying to win a tournament for over maybe 2 years, something like that. It'd make me feel like I'm making some progress at tournament poker.
It's funny about tournament poker sometimes, Mike, isn't it, that you kind of feel like there's a problem you're going to have to sort out, and then sometimes it gets sorted out on its own.
Yeah, but
Well, that's right. All these guys would love to see Patrik go out next, I can tell you that. To get rid of Sam Trickett, Dwan, and Patrik Antonius in that order, it's got to make them all very happy. No doubt about it.
Sometimes you clump
And certainly makes this Premier League title feel much more open. I believe even Tony G has perked up a little bit. He knows he's had some bad luck.
Well, look at that. He folded an ace-7 in a short-handed poker game here. And did it right as Jungleman has ace-10.
Jungleman's limped again here. And, you know, this is the kind of the play he'd been making against Tom Dwan, who had been going all in. Oh, wow. Phil Laak's got him. Phil Laak's going to get on here. He's made it 65,000 more, has Laak with the ace-king. And, Mike, this limp in from the button, Jungleman did it twice against Dwan and folded to the raise. He's been setting this play up. All the logic says he's going to spring a trap now and then fall into one of his own. You know, the raise by Laak, it does look a little bit fishy, I guess. Why wouldn't Laak just go all in? He's only got 15 big blinds.
Well, Laak, when a guy lamps in on the button, you're going to make the same play with king, queen, king, jack, ace, 8. You're going to make the same bet with all those kind of hands most of the time. You think the guy's trying to limp in with 10-9 or jack-10 or something like that? Well, the flop comes queen, jack, deuce.
7-0.
You weren't bluffing me.
No, I think you were bluffing, and I was a big miss this hand. I thought it was a big hand.
Ace king, I mean.
Let's get it in.
Phil Laak, he likes taking that one down. When the flop came, he went into push the red button mode. Put his chips on the ejector seat and flew.
Appreciate that. Because normally, but look at this one green.
There were
spare
so
right
many
here.
people, Mike, coming into this who said, Daniel Cates, he may be a smart guy, he may be a great no-limit hold'em player, but even the best players said Jungleman was going to struggle in this format, not having much tournament experience. And everybody, in fact, felt that way, but Jungleman himself, who was quietly confident about his chances, said, I think I'm a favorite, no matter what the lineup is.
Whatever.
I'll tell you what, he's looking pretty strong now.
He's picked up the best hands at the right time here today. That's why he's got the chip lead.
Scott's raised this from the button, the min raise up to 40K, and Patrick's now on about 15 big blinds. May just shove here. Remember, even though 300K looks like a lot, the blinds are 10 and 20,000. I know Scott Seiver's got him out kicked, but Mike, I think if Patrik shoves here, he's going to win this.
And even if it gets called, it's going to be a split pot most all the time. Well, Patrik just didn't think he had enough chips to get involved, so he just throws away the ace-3.
You need to know how much you have.
Yeah, after the flop. I mean, at the moment, we're not even playing.
Well, I need to know what you have.
All right, relax.
It's around 2.
I totally agree with Scott Seiver here.
I need to know how much you have.
Because then they know. They know. You don't have to count it. They know. Just ask the person. How much they have?
Like
it's Tony G show.
I'm just going to wait.
2:30.
I'll wait until I hear.
The technician's working on it right now. Am I right?
He's going to wait, and he's going to find out. And that's...
Kid, you can keep it.
Played for a lot of money here.
Technicians
Scott Seiver knows his rights.
Well, in the meantime, it's come Jack, deuce, deuce. Tony G's taking the lead with Jack's up.
Wow, it's at 225.
Whose turn is it? Whose turn is it? It's my turn? Yeah, I obviously check. I check.
I obviously check.
That's 28.
Make it 70.
Raise 70.
He's check raised, Tony G, top pair. And Seiver will recognize that this is like Tony committing his entire stack. He's never folding for 150 more, Mike, is he?
Well, Scott's still going to be upset that he has not stacked up his chips yet. Now he's been check raised. Is he just frustrated because Scott was telling him to do that and just making a move and then going to show him a bluff and go, ha, ha, ha. Well, he is not. And Tony had the jacks up, so a good lay down by Scott Seiver there.
Don't upset me, Scott. You're too good to do this to yourself.
You're too good to do this to us.
I'm not too good. I'm a businessman. I'm all heart.
My business is business, man. I'm in the business of business.
I operate in the online poker world. I'm an operator.
He is a smooth operator.
These guys have been sitting there doing their work.
I really think, Mike, that the tempers are flying all over. It's actually, it plays into Tony G's hands right now. He likes to get the players rattled and ruffled. Chaos is the arena that he operates in the best.
You're right about that. Loves to put players on tilt, wind them up, get them off their game.
And now this is very interesting. Jungleman's limped in and Phil Laak has just checked it from the big blind. It's a big hand he's got here, and he's playing it deceptive.
Well, it's gotten bigger now. He's got top pair and top kicker.
Something I did want.
He's checked again, but it got checked right behind. Now a deuce comes off. Well, Jungleman's falling into a trap. Phil Laak has reeled him in.
Now, what are we all going to do for an hour? What a stupid thing.
He certainly has,
Tony,
but
this is your show. Make something
he's going to allow the Jungleman to bet it twice, no matter what comes on the river. And he's got him. He's actually trapped the Jungleman bigger. Jungleman's about to make a big bet.
Unbelievable. Well, the first bobble the Jungleman's made today. Phil Laak certainly going to look him up and make the call and win the pot.
I have a jack.
You're right. It's the first ball he's dropped. Jungleman Cates missed the vine.
Nice pot for Phil Laak right there.
He let the Jungleman do all the betting, all the bluffing, and
it's not funny.
Mike, he figured out a nice plan, Phil Laak there.
That was
Get
very
chips.
nice.
Only one can win and be crowned champion, so the pressure is on for the remaining players at our final table. Join us for more action after the break. Welcome back to Premier League Poker 5. It's a roller coaster ride for our remaining finalists in the battle to win the $500,000 first prize and the championship title. Let's get back to the action.
Impossible to think how this level can end, Mike, with 5 players.
Probably one of the.
Well, it won't end with 5 players. Somebody's got to go down. A couple guys only got about 10 times the big blind, so
You're gonna increase
that's not very much at all in a short-handed poker game.
70.
Now, Phil Laak's picked up a big hand here. He's got 2 jacks. Makes it 70,000 to go. Remember, blinds are 15 and 30,000. But Patrik has picked up 2 queens.
Wow.
So
We are going to see some sparks fly now.
Now Patrik is on the short stack. I can't see him doing anything here, but just raising all in.
220.
This is going to switch the landscape a little bit. This is about half of Phil Laak's stack. There's no way he's going to fold for the re-raise.
Darling, did you order my drink?
And if the jacks
Where? Finished it.
don't beat the queens, they're not likely to. Antonius is going to be well back in this tournament, Mike, this final table.
He's qualified here.
Well, obviously you have to call if you're Phil Laak here.
2 jacks. I had a jack.
2 jacks,
I had a
and
jack.
Tony said he folded a jack.
I don't want my ace back.
Your best hope is the hearts. I had a jack.
I just feel like jacks is a big hand there. I'm gonna nit call.
Patrik deserves a double up. He's been patient.
Very patient.
I had jack 3.
There is only one more jack in the deck.
Diamonds, there's no outs.
Well, it's come 10, 10, 6.
Yep.
He's not drawn dead. There's 1 jack left in the deck.
I had jack 3 of diamonds. God, if I hit this.
Antonius all in, but a strong favorite here.
Well, a king comes on the river. Patrik Antonius is going to double up, and he will be a force again, ladies and gentlemen.
Knocked down, but not knocked out. Patrik Antonius will feel like he's got as good a chance as the rest of them. Back in second position.
It's hard to get good hands. And when you get them, sometimes it's hard to win because your uphill battle still is there.
Ever uphill.
It's day one of the WPT Vienna here. Montesino Casino in Austria. Room filling up. You can hear the action in the background. And you can see on the main table, center stage, 5 men competing for the trophy of Premier League Poker 5.
Over to Tony. He's folding, still hadn't stacked his chips up. Now Jungleman's got 2 sevens. And just limps in with them.
That surprises me, Mike. It's not the kind of hand you want to be calling a shove with.
100 total.
Well, look at Phil Laak with 2 8s.
I'm all in. Gray is all in. And call.
It's been bang, bang, bang. Laak's going to double up.
Well,
if the 7 don't come.
Incredible. What an opportunity for Phil Laak. Not only double up and take the chip lead.
80%, but it's not going to be easy. I've seen it.
He's got the 2 different suits. That's the worry.
Jungleman still got about 700K back.
Before. I'm strong enough for it. I had a good time. If I lose, I played it like a nit. And if I die like a nit, that's fine because I've done it before, you know?
That's what we do.
This is his chance to go chip leader in the Premier League.
Well, this is our biggest pot so far at this table, no question about it. And it's come queen, queen, 6. The 2 8s are still out in front.
Maybe 3 6. Diamonds, nothing can come.
I mean, Phil is going to be jumping up and down. He is going to be screaming like a banshee. He's going to be the happy, hoppy poet.
Jungleman needs a 7. That's the only thing that'll do it for him. Doesn't happen as an ace comes off. The 8 kicker wins the pot.
That's amazing.
Both players playing aces and queens.
2,
Phil Laak playing the 8 kicker.
380, 385.
He's just won the biggest pot of this final table with 8 high.
Well, just incredible. Phil Laak.
He can hardly believe it. But for Phil Laak, this is his second Premier League Poker final table. He came into number 4 last season as chip leader. Didn't go well, but now, with 5 left, Mike, can Laak power this through?
Well, he certainly can if he keeps winning races and wins all-in pots like that, no doubt about it. You catch a few cards when the blinds and hands are this high, obviously anybody can win.
However it goes down, there'll be another battle, and the war's not over, so it's all good. You know, and even should I win this, it's just winning a battle, and still the war is yet to be decided. So who knows? It would mean a lot because it's really cool winning stuff. And as far as the piggy bank is concerned, this is the little chart of expectation. The first place all the way down to 8th place, but then you have to add the money I made in the like the points accumulation. Then you have to subtract the 125 to get in. So the best I could do is plus 433,000, and the worst I can do is minus 12,000. But a great time, and I actually made more than that in the cash game. So I'm at minimum break even cash-wise with having a good time, and possibly a lot better, and already having had a good time. I can't believe I used the had situation in the right way there.
Amazing that 5 players have hung on with their knuckles and skin for so long, but they have.
8 fold. 1 fold.
It's going to be hard to hang on much longer. Once you get through this level and get to 20 and 40,000, you can't hang on with just a couple 100,000 in chips. You have to play pots.
5 call.
And again, Jungleman just limping in here, allowing the blinds to get a free flop here.
I mean, he's lost every pot here against Phil Laak from this spot, just limping in. But this maybe is what he's been waiting for.
Well, he's not going to lose this one. come ace, king, queen. He's got 2 aces. He's not going anywhere, but Phil Laak's not going to put a nickel in the pot either, though.
Bet 40.
That's the problem.
Don't do it. Phil's there's no way he's fallen into this trap.
Unbelievable.
I cannot believe he's fallen into this trap, Mike.
Look at this. The guy just took the chip lead. He can't stand it.
How did he fall?
He just likes playing on the short stack. He can't stand it. Unbelievable. Had nothing invested in this pot, and now all of a sudden it's going loop-de-loop.
And Mike, how brilliant does this make Jungleman look? I mean, he set this up, but it just seems...
Well, Jungleman is worried about it, believe me. He's afraid the guy might have a jack 10, could have a king queen. I know he didn't raise before the flop, probably put him on a flush draw. When an ace comes off, Jungleman will not be going anywhere. And Phil Laak, I believe, is going to shut down right now. Yep. He's not going to lose another dime in this pot. He took a stab at it, didn't work. Just going to give it up. Now the club comes off. Not going to be a card that the Jungleman likes to see right there, I can tell you.
Check.
You might give Phil Laak credit for having something.
Phil, here's the rope. You can reel yourself back in or loop it around your neck.
Oh my gosh. He just took the lead and he's just giving it away. He's trying. You got to give him credit. He's got some heart. Oh no! The Jungleman folded. 3 aces there.
Oh my gosh!
I am in shock over that. I mean, he had to have a pat hand to have him beat.
We got one more hand.
Even if he had an ace, they were going to split the pot. 3 aces with a king queen.
Okay, yeah.
That is a shocking blow.
Mike,
I'm
how
stunned.
excited is Phil Laak going to be? How did he get away with that?
I'm stunned.
He looked like he was dead as a dormouse. I mean, Jungleman is about to find out the players are going to be going on a break. This is going to explode.
Can I buy 1 red 5? Can I buy 1 red?
5 players remain, but only one can be crowned champion of the Party Poker Premier League Poker Season 5. Let's get the cards back in the air with your commentators Jessie May and Mike Sexton.
Phil Laak has got the chip lead, and isn't he buzzing, Mike Sexton?
Well, is he ever? Had to win a race, or he'd been out in 7th place. Now he's the chip leader.
Yeah.
And he is thrilled about it.
And if there is any skill or edge to this game among this competition at this level of high blinds, Mike, I guess it has to be those with a willingness to get their chips in the middle and take a chance.
No longer fun when the rabbits.
Well, with the blinds as high as they are, there won't be a lot of
Do a blind one. Do a blind one.
raising before the flop, betting on the flop, betting on the turn, betting on the river. Nobody has enough chips for that. Well, Scott moving all in here with the 2 9s.
And Antonius all in behind him. This is a flip. This is a race.
I had queen 8.
This is everything for both these players, although Antonius does have about 170K back. But look how big this pot is.
Well, it is massive, over 600,000, as you can see.
This is a real matchup.
Scott Seiver with the 9s, Patrik Antonius with the ace-queen. Here we go. Well, flop comes 3-3-4. Great flop for Scott Seiver right there. Just got to dodge an ace or a queen or 2 runners to make a straight.
Could it be Scott Seiver?
Easy money.
Could he be the one coming from the ashes to take this Premier League poker title?
Well, if he can dodge an ace or a queen, he does as the 9 comes off. He fills up.
295.
He has doubled up.
Very strong mojo that Scott Seiver's had throughout this Premier League. And he's been dueling, he's been fighting against Patrik Antonius to get him in the end. It's the last laugh that's counting now.
And now he finds himself in 2nd chip position. Patrik Antonius, on the other hand, who was big chip leader once at this final table, is now in last place.
That's what I mean. If we played a few more hands, then it would have been over. We wouldn't have to stuff around. Warren! Warren, you're going to get the sack. Where's my vodka Red Bull?
No. The blinds work.
You are the worst. A disgrace. You should wear a flag. Everyone should know. Everyone should know about people like you, Warren. You're the worst manager in the world.
I love you, Warren.
Warren, you're the best.
He's a fraud. Don't worry about it. If he
Everyone loves Fun Warren.
If he manages to fire you, Scott and I will hire you.
3-4.
Right? We can.
Yeah, we're definitely hiring Fun Warren.
No one's gonna hire you after I sack you. No one will ever take you. I'll make sure you'll be ruined.
Yo, guys,
Your career will be over.
Credit card though.
Tony's getting boisterous.
What's three-way mean?
He's getting rambunctious.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm down for that.
Oh, yeah, of course.
He'll be the guy to figure out ways to use them. I have no idea.
Well, he's talking about Warren Lush, one of the most well-liked guys in the poker world.
Figure it out.
We'll get
His
good
contract
results.
won't let him work for 3 years.
Not only that,
He'll get
you're
paid, but he won't
recipient
work.
of a European Poker Award this year, top staff person in Europe. But I do believe that Tony is just so happy about Antonius being on the short stack right now. First, the chance of finishing ahead of him in the Premier League, and he's folded ace-5 with 8 big blinds on the button, Mike.
Well, that's pretty shocking.
Discipline of an animal that has discipline. It's an animal that's disciplined.
He's in 4th place right now out of 5 players. As you said, only got 8 or 9 big blinds and lays that hand down. I'm shocked by that.
You know, I've been in situations sitting next to Tony G right in this very commentary box, and I know what he'd say right now. He'd say, have you no heart? Have you no commitment to the game, Tony G? To lay down that hand there.
Sometimes the bluff gets there, though.
Check.
I'm probably supposed to fire one more if I'm bluffing him, right?
Of course, there was a huge pot, Mike, not too long ago, where Phil Laak bluffed Jungleman on the river. And
let's go 70.
Jungleman might have folded the hand, but he also found out about the bluff afterwards. And Mike, I think the chance of Phil Laak bluffing Jungleman on the river now is somewhere between thin, slim, and none. What do you think?
And none's the favorite.
None's the favorite. And none is the favorite.
Do it, Phil. Do it.
I feel like I'm supposed to check for value in case you have some sort of. I mean, could you? I'm gonna get laughed at for not betting this. I mean, how do I not bet this?
Wow. I mean, is he really thinking about it? Can Daniel call an all in?
Are you trapping me? Okay, I checked.
Check.
Queen.
Oh, it's good.
Hit 10 high. Yeah, 10 high.
Well, Jungleman taking down that pot.
Seems fine to me. If you could possibly have a...
By the way, whatever you said, Patrik was ready to laugh at you just regardless.
Regardless?
Patrik was holding it in during the hand.
He's holding it during the hand.
During the hand, Patrik was just holding it in.
Well, you know.
He kept looking over. And
trying to figure out.
He doesn't actually raise his eyebrows, but they were basically
raised.
Yeah, exactly.
I could feel it.
I wasn't looking at the other side of the table.
Oh, these guys are getting silly, Mike.
Sometimes you just laugh at the injustice of it all.
5-4.
That is.
We were friends.
What is Tony G waiting for, by the way?
You're getting there. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that you're gaining friendliness.
Yeah, it's a pretty good thing he was waiting here, I think.
I'm not.
And Phil Laak limping in with the 2 4s.
I did the same thing you did. You know. So what you call is what's there.
You did! Look at that, there's 6 checkers.
I did it for you.
Phil Laak slipped in here,
6 units.
and now I think he's trying to decide if he wants to shove on Scott Seiver, Mike.
About the whole 2-1, the feelings of it.
I think he.
Take the money.
His first instinct was to, and then he talked himself out of it. And maybe it's a good thing Seiver would have called. We'll see.
Well, indeed he would have. Let's see what happens. And it comes Queen, Jack, 8, all hearts.
Be sharp now. Where's your tie?
Now it goes check, check.
That's it. Suck on it.
Now a deuce comes off.
Where's your tie? You're a professional.
Seiver kind of like the Jungleman, giving Phil Laak an opportunity to bluff.
I'm shocked that he hasn't made a bet yet with ace queen.
He'll bet now. He will bet now.
And he might get called now. Phil Laak may call him with 2 4s here, the way this hand was played.
Check, 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 check.
Oh, why do I always
check,
feel these are standard
bet.
and then I just feel like I should just retire?
I told you he could well pay this bet off. It's 80,000 to call. And he does make the call, and he is going to lose the pot.
And that's why Scott Seiver played it like that, I guess, Mike. That's what these top-level players on the most dangerous boards, they still have the guts to check.
Oh my God, you're friends. You are the worst.
Because of value.
Friends, Tony G. You might not know a thing or two about friendship.
Well,
You could have.
Scott Seiver made a great value bet on the river, but it was the check on the flop on the turn that got him paid off on the river.
What you understand is some things are more important than winning chips. Friendship. It's called friendship.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's the
That cut and slide.
classic maneuver.
Yep.
Well, Jesse, the blinds are going up in 4 hands, so.
You know, they're both so short, G and Antonius.
They're going to have to make a play and do something here.
Learn a thing or two from that.
Pretty quick.
I guess, Mike, that you can't even worry about getting the chips in first. There's almost no fold. Oh, that's a big hand for Antonius.
Yeah.
He has to get them in here.
I think he's got to go. He's the short stack at the table. He knows Phil Laak's a pretty conservative player, but still, I don't say you can lay this hand down with your stack size.
5-handed, ace-10.
Yeah, Patrik going to make the call. When I say make the call, he's going to move in.
What is it? 105?
As Phil Laak will say, this is a trivial call.
I have like, I think I have.
He has to call here against any hand, really.
7 calls. Showdown, please.
And for Antonius, an all-in.
Patrik out in front right now with the ace-10. The way things are going for Phil Laak at this table, though, who knows? He's liable to hit the winner.
If you fall,
He's still
it's a
ahead.
good thing. It's a good thing
I
here
have
is.
Well, let's come deuce, deuce, 5. So far, so good for Patrik. He's still out in front with the ace high.
They'll more than double up.
Alive, I guess.
You're not alive. How are you alive? You're dead as a donut. You're completely dead.
You got punished. You abandoned.
I don't think it was that.
Jungleman may have folded pocket 5s.
Well, he did, but he got shut out of the pot by the all-in bet.
I think straight off the bat.
Amazing.
I did the
Patrik Antonius.
Everything that I thought.
When one guy's on 6 big blinds and one guy's on 8, I think raising up front with the king 3 is
this is the moment where this
optimistic.
Well, that's a very nice way to put it, Jesse. And right now, I'm sure Phil Laak's saying, why'd I get involved in that pot? I had decent chips. Why am I burning them up like that?
Too late now.
I'm insane. That's what he's saying to himself.
Yeah. Is it too late? My time is up.
I mean,
well, it might be.
Your time is up.
It just may well be. It's very interesting.
Antonius, you can hold him back, but you can't keep him down.
1-4.
Folded around to Tony G. And there you go. He's the short stack now. He moves all in with ace-king.
That's what he was waiting for. And look at this spot he's in.
Unbelievable. Jungleman is moving all in over the top of him.
How do you find a spot like this?
And Tony G in great shape here.
6-4.
There you go. You go pair?
He has his opponent dominated ace-king versus ace-queen.
No, that's fair race. Come on.
I could have tripled up.
You tried to go back to your roots, but it was too late. You missed your opportunity.
Jungleman's feeling a little bit
mini 5s.
weathered, but in sooth. Oh my gosh, there's the queen. That's it for Tony G.
Well, it's not it over.
Unbelievable.
He needs a 10 or a king here. This is pretty bad luck for Tony G, though, I'll tell you that. But it's not over. He can catch a 10 to make a straight, or a king to make the best hand.
Forced to just feel it out.
Third Premier League poker final table for G. Is he going to be denied again?
Well, a big pot, over 400,000 here. Certainly a big pot for Tony because he's out if he doesn't get some help. There's an 8. We're down to the river. Tony G must catch a king or a 10. Otherwise, he'll be our 5th place finisher.
It's a 10 ball.
Just act like
Seen way thicker ones than this.
By the way, 10 ball comes, you're still in it. Whatever.
5.
Daniel Cates will get it back. No problem.
He's right. When he's right, he's right.
He's waiting.
5.
It's over.
There it is. There it is.
Well, Tony G storming off the table, leaving the Easter Bunny.
It'd be over. It'd be all
Not
over.
taking the bunny with him, and I'll tell you, pretty tough luck for Tony. He lost a huge pot when he lost a race to Phil Laak earlier, and now he had his opponent dominated ace-king versus ace-queen. He lost that also.
Dropping the hammer.
And with 4 left, right now it just looks like Jungleman and Scott Seiver. Still a lot of money to be played for here. That $500,000 prize. And the trophy for the winner.
We lose Tony G in 5th place. That's $100,000 to add to the earlier $60,000. But I know that you came in here really wanting to take this down and take the title. So how are you coping?
Oh, it's tough. Look, you know, to go out ace king against ace queen, that's poker. It didn't work out for me, and move on. But there's no need to be upset now. It's over. So now it's about moving on to the next thing and enjoying life.
I feel bad because I
Tournament director Matt Savage, you're going to have to make a ruling on if animals are allowed to stay on the table.
Well, you're looking at the remnants of Tony G right there. His dog Zasco sitting there with the bunny, and they're both looking for their boss. Where's Tony G? Daddy, where are you? Come back! Come back! Well, Patrik Antonius moving all in with ace high on the button. And look at this, Phil Laak has picked up 2 queens and makes a snap call.
How do either of you get hands like this?
Just big hand after big hand for some of these guys.
Ace from space.
This one I feel like maybe my kung fu is
We
over.
could be down to 3 players here. If Phil Laak's 2 queens stand up,
I gotta have the right attitude.
Patrik Antonius' tournament life on the line here.
I know, you're right.
He's looking for an ace, a bullet, or to be a bullet to the chest for him. He does catch a 9 on the flop, but now needs a 9 or an ace to take the lead.
You'd never know by looking at Patrik Antonius if he's a 80% favorite, a 20% under. I mean, he has, you know, he gives nothing away. Phil Laak's, he's underwater. He's a basket case.
Well, he let out a moan there because he saw his opponent can now catch a 3 and make a straight, as well as catch a 9 or an ace to win the pot. So more outs for the enemy. Doesn't come though. The 10 comes up. That's going to do it. Patrik Antonius out in 4th place.
He has been a revelation this Premier League, but how can you say that to somebody who's achieved as much as Patrik Antonius? He brings it when he has to and shows why he's one of the best in the world.
Thought he played superbly today. Just wasn't meant to be for Patrik. And we are down to 3.
Only one of our remaining players will take home the grand prize of $500,000 and this prestigious title. Action continues after the break. 3 players remain here at the final table for the Premier League. Only one can be crowned champion. Let's go back over to your commentators, Jesse May and Mike Sexton.
3 men in a tub, rub-a-dub-dub. Daniel Cates, Phil Laak, and Scott Seiver. Who's going to come out of the wash as Premier League Poker 5 champion, Mike?
Well, as you can see, they're all pretty close in chip count, so obviously anybody's ball game, and the truth be known, probably whoever picks up the best cards is going to win this title.
We put our fishing lines down into the water, and we all have a little fish, and we're trying to reel it in.
All these 3 different paths to get to this stage. But when you look at the chip counts, very even among them.
This one, my fish got away.
6-4.
Yeah.
You have to give them all credit for getting here. And they all know that it's going to be about execution right now and desire. And as you pointed out, Mike, the best cards wouldn't hurt. Now this is the kind of spot, Mike, where, you know, there are some tournament players, the young guys, who would even be willing to move all in with this hand.
You're like 900 to
Well, you're moving all in against the chip leader. Remember that. Do you want to risk your whole tournament life on this situation? The guy may call you. He may have you dominated.
He's done it.
He went all in, and he's going to win this pot. What a play by the Jungleman right there to risk his tournament life with the 2 ducks.
Don't underestimate this kid. What did he pull out of the bag right there?
And most of the time we get our
Making these old timers look like molasses.
He had the 6 high and he knew.
And with that hand, the Jungleman now takes the chip lead.
2 in my hands. Oh my God.
He's giggling. He said, I had a 2 in my hand. He loves it. He absolutely loves it.
I really did. I was not bluffing.
6-4.
Non-bluff versus non-bluff.
Scott Seiver now in 3rd place. Not by a lot, but he's there. Phil Laak out in front. Flop comes queen 8-7. The Jungleman's got top pair. Scott Seiver's got second pair.
Or bet 50.
Seiver's going to lose some money here.
Yeah, I don't see any way to save him from this hand. He makes the call.
Jungleman plays flop so well.
0-8, the dream card for Scott Seiver right there. And that could be a scare card for the Jungleman.
Mike.
And I think he knows it.
And Jesse, this is what we call a pro war. And pro wars are a lot of fun because you can just sit back, 2 wizards, maybe a nuclear explosion, something like that. It's quite delicious.
120.
Talk about the shoe on the other foot.
Well, it's hard to throw top pair away in a 3-handed poker game. It just is.
Oh, Houston, we have takeoff. This is for sure leading into a pro war.
Phil's mumbling, by the way, in between. This could be the biggest pot of the entire tournament. And Seiver now is going to have to size this. He's only got just over a pot-sized bet back. Does he want to go for it?
I think you have to bet 3/8 here. The question is, how much do you bet? There's your answer. Well, the Jungleman called him on the turn with the 2 queens. Will he give it up now?
Daniel's going to have to think about this, Mike. And I think the longer he thinks about it, the longer he's going to think, I can only beat a bluff. So now,
exactly,
how likely is it that Seiver is bluffing? And what would he have been bluffing with playing this way? He's made some big folds already in the Premier League. Seen him throw 3 aces away twice on the river.
Well, once was mind-boggling. He would have won that putt.
And the other time he would have lost.
But right here, as you said, the way the betting's gone here, Jungleman has got to realize now all it can beat is a bluff.
Seiver got betting on the turn. He led into the Jungleman because he realized that the Jungleman would have checked back very often on the turn. So I think Jungleman has to say to himself, Scott was trying to, he's called it.
Wow.
He knows why he did it.
Well, he made the call and he's going to pay the price.
It's really irritating.
And that's an understatement. That is hyperbole. Jungleman rocked by the turn card, Mike.
Well, Jungleman had the best hand, the flop with 2 queens against 2 8s. The 8 came on the turn. The Jungleman paid him off on the river, and that pot cost him dearly. With it, he's down to 3rd place.
But kid, don't ever use the glass to look up. You look only on the felt.
Look on the felt.
And this is a quick drag.
Why never use the glass?
Because it reflects.
They're battering him with words as their weapons.
Everyone knows that you're like, Dan, like seriously, just trust us when we say this. Because everyone has been able to see your cards for months.
Really? Okay. All right. When he goes in the casino, he's doing that? Yeah. In the casino, you're doing the same. I just told you, don't look up at him. I didn't see anything. But you put him on the glass, and you're bending him like a... Listen, this is
Mike,
the felt.
Mike,
this is the glass. Only look
Mike,
at your
this
cards
is,
if the cards can be touching the felt continuously.
They're out of control now.
This
Otherwise, you're just, I don't know what to say. I mean, that's what you have to do.
All right.
They're trying to rattle him, Mike. They're playing for big money here. It's the Premier League title, and they are trying to rattle the Jungleman.
Well, I think Phil Laak's trying to help him, actually, but he might get rattled because of the way they're telling him.
Help him?
In the casino, they're going to buy just
Boy.
people in the casino.
With friends like that. With friends like that.
It's for real money. It's really serious.
But Daniel Cates, you're lucky because when you play high, you're always with guys like us anyways. And maybe a fish if you're lucky. Right. So you're always going to be protected. You're going to keep getting warnings. But there will be a time, only it's going to take one time in a year, where one guy sees a hand and you just get exploited in the hand for like your stack or something.
Yeah.
Telling you, Phil Laak's like the guy that offers you a ride in his car.
When you came out with, you think I'm right?
Come on.
All right.
Okay. Well, Jungleman finally says all right. After all that dissertation.
I swear to God.
can't believe I've never seen anything like it.
I was trying to distract you. I don't know. I have.
That's a Phil Laak maneuver. Don't worry.
You think we get in quiet mode and being serious right now with all that's at stake here?
I've seen it all.
Winner gets
Scott Seiver witnessed the strangest hand I've ever played.
Premier League title as well as 500,000.
And I was like, I had to talk to somebody because it was the only time I ever talked about a hand.
It certainly was.
Put you on an ace jack race 10 and you wouldn't be able to.
I forgot this time again. I'm all in.
I was like, right.
Well, here goes the Jungleman with the king-8 of spade.
He's gotten called by Laak. Laak's going to definitely have an ace or better here in my mind, Mike.
Well, he's going to have a very good hand for sure. Phil Laak not going to call right there without a hand. That's obvious.
It's like 400.
Let's see.
And he's got the ace-10. Phil Laak has the best hand. If he wins this pot, we'll be down to heads-up play for the Premier Championship title.
Well, the Jungleman has come this far. Is it the end of the Premier League poker road for this young 22-year-old?
Yeah.
The genius, the phenom.
Well, so far so good for Laak. He dodged the king of 8 on the flop. Can he continue to dodge it? Nope, a king right on the turn. The Jungleman got lucky. Now he's got to dodge an ace or a queen on the river.
Oh, club too.
And a club. And he dodges it as the 9 comes off. Well, that was tough luck for Phil Laak right there. He'd have been a nice chip leader playing heads up for the title. But as it is, he drops back to 3rd place. The Jungleman moves up to 2nd place.
That hurt. He's thirsty now, Laak, and no water in the glass. But for the Jungleman, you know, this is a guy, I think anybody who's watched this Premier League has really been impressed with Daniel Cates at every stage. And here he is now in the thick of it. This part of the history of the WPT, and of course the WPT Vienna last year was a huge success. It's become really one of the premier stops here on the European arm of the WPT. Mike, you do a great job here in Vienna.
Well, players love coming to Vienna. It's a beautiful city, great city. They love the staff in the casino here at the Montesino Casino. They're treated well. And that's why it's so popular here.
They have both kinds of Wiener Schnitzel as well, pork, chicken, and veal. You can get, this is the only place in town you can get the Wiener Trio. 3 different kinds of schnitzel on one plate.
Well, Phil Laak has flopped 2nd pair and bet. Scott Seiver has called him with the gut shot straight draw. Phil Laak has bet the gut shot straight draw, and Scott called him with the 2-8s. Now the 6 comes off. Will that freeze Laak up once he got called on the flop?
Just at this point in the hands, Seiver has usually been so good. This is a great bet from Laak, though.
This is unbelievable, this bet right here. I mean, it really is. Seiver knows now all he can beat is a bluff. If his opponent's got 8s, he's going to be out-kicked. If he's got a queen, he's dead. Could he have made 5s and 6s, a possible straight? I think it's going to be virtually impossible for Seiver to call here with just 2 8s and a deuce kicker.
And yet, Mike, that said, Scott Seiver, he's such a great hand reader. He has to think to himself, what hands would Laak bet out with on the flop and bet out with on the turn?
I am wowed. Well, I am wowed that he has made this call with this hand. As the cards lie, Laak needs a 9, 10, or a jack to win the pot. Doesn't happen as the deuce comes off. And now there's no chance in the world that Seiver's getting away from this hand. He's got 2 pair.
Yeah, I think he's put Laak on bluffing. I think in Scott Seiver's mind, Mike, Phil Laak would have checked the top pair on the flop rather than bet it out.
7 all in.
Wow, why do I feel like we did have a hand? Why did I bet the turn?
Well, you'd have won betting the turn.
I almost went all in the turn.
From most guys, I can tell you that.
And where I would have won.
I'm so impressed that Scott Seiver called that bet on the turn. Really, really was an impressive read.
That could be the call that makes him Premier League champion. This is going to be so.
Can I even win with, what do I have? I might
crippling to Phil Laak. He just knocked him out here.
70, 170, it's like 2 big blinds.
Laak's just trying to save face right now, Mike.
Well, they can't call. There's no hand he can beat.
40?
No hand he can beat.
40 goes into 270 a very small amount of times. You can't fit it in too many times.
He cannot call here, folks. All he can beat is a Jack-4 or a 10-4. There's no way the guy's going to be calling you on the turn if he had one of those two hands. What other hand could he possibly beat? Nothing. A 10-9. That's the only hand.
I think he's just really sort of wallowing in his...
No, he is wallowing. He's going to throw the hand away. He just wants Scott to know, look, I had something when I was betting.
He's like a hippopotamus baked in clay.
I'm making a hero fold.
By Scott Seiver.
6-4.
If I find out you had like ace-7 of hearts.
You couldn't beat it anyway. He's going to know that in a few
Good
minutes,
hand.
Phil.
Thank you. I didn't have to get involved so deeply.
Well, let me tell you something. By making that call on the turn, in my view, that justifies him being the Premier League champion alone, no matter what else happens here. That was a terrific play by Scott Seiver there.
I've had a pretty tumultuous ups and downs throughout the Premier League. I have a first and a second, I have a last, and I basically just fought to survive to make it in on the last heat, and here I am now in the finals. I've had a lot of fun. It's just good people, good times, and I've been enjoying myself. It's a great lineup, but no matter who made it, it would have been a great lineup. Every player that started was a great player. I feel I'm playing well, I feel I'm getting lucky, and you need both those things to happen, so it just needs to continue one more day. I'm not just trying to win for a title or anything, I'm just enjoy playing the game.
Well, this is a pretty curious play
It's
here.
funny, I know you're winning, but I feel like I just want to call. It's pretty sick.
Can you put the cards in the glass, please?
What do I have?
What? Oh,
Ace.
right.
I have 10 big blinds.
2-8.
Well, the Jungleman has King-8. I can't imagine Phil Laak throws this hand away. I just
Pretty
can't
solid
imagine.
hand against like an ace-4 or something.
He would have made the same play with Queen-9.
It's just such a strong hand. But it's probably not winning unless you have a pair of 4s.
It is a strong hand. As Phil knows, it's flipping against most over-unders, this one of them.
Well, I'd be shocked if he doesn't play this hand. Of course, I didn't think he would move in with the Jack-3 a minute ago, and he did.
He just has to really think about what kind of situations he's going to find in the future, how this is going to go on, upside, downside. Mike, if he calls and wins here.
Yeah, but at worst, I think he's going to be 60-40 to lose this pot. I think that's the worst with this hand, that you're going to be almost all the time.
I wouldn't blame him a bit if he calls. To me, it'll be the sign of a man who's still thinking about trying to win the Premier League. He's going to put it in the hands of fate.
Well, I think he should call too. You figure to be a 60-40 underdog at worst.
You may be a blunder, you may be a genius. You may have just...
And as it turns out,
yeah,
it's pretty much a flip.
Yeah, I believe Jungleman intended to set Phil in. He didn't put enough chips in, so there is going to be some betting after the flop. And
well, flop is ace-9-4.
now, if you're Phil Laak, you can't follow up calling by folding here.
That work?
Well, you can if you think your opponent's got an ace.
Oh.
That's the only way.
To be fair, Tony G was just here.
I know I'm supposed to call, but I don't know if I can. It's because of the way I played it.
You cannot fold.
I just never expected this flop, to be honest. I just thought this flop could never come.
I don't understand why you wouldn't put it all in so you don't face this decision.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got 150,000, but he's going to be in the blind the next
That's
time.
a bad flop for me.
But if you think there's a chance your opponent's got an ace, you're probably supposed to fold it.
But I still might be a favorite.
Mike, Jungleman, I mean, isn't he putting Phil all in on 100% of the flops?
For sure. He's never thrown the hand away.
You know, and he's going to move in first.
And came on to win second or first would be the greatest triumph in the history of the show. So the blinds are.
He doesn't want to fold. He doesn't want to call, but he has to.
This doesn't look very good.
It's a hard way to go out, but
it's funny.
Well, the problem is he put himself in this predicament by just not putting them all in before the flop. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't just stick them in there and see 5 cards for your money. You're guaranteed to see all 5 if you're sticking in before the flop. Now he's only going to see 3 and just give up all that 700,000 that's sitting out there.
This is what you get for not going all in, but I thought I would maybe have this escape hatch, but it's not even really an escape hatch.
Don't do it, Phil.
I guess I can't do it.
It would be the biggest mistake he made the entire tournament.
Well, I don't think so.
I did not think
you think he's made a bigger mistake than that?
Yeah, not moving in before the flop.
Give him a 5. I don't want anyone.
Keep going. Keep going.
Oh, no.
Well, it turns out he would have been out had he made that call that you were saying he had to make, but with so much money out there, it was hard to lay it down. I agree. If you want to give yourself a chance, a real chance to win, looked like you have to gamble there, but he should have put it all in before the flop, and then he wouldn't have stressed out like that. He'd have just been out.
You theoretically turned it.
As it is, he's still in.
Oh, yeah.
I'm supposed to go all in or fold? I'm supposed to fold is better, I think.
That I agree with. He should have gone all in, but then he'd have been out. He's still sitting here.
Phil's a big believer in morphic resonance.
Well, I don't understand this.
I call.
He's going to put it in with a deuce 4 now.
I think I have a 4.
When they're going to call, they're obligated to call with any 2 cards that are going to be better than this hand. So explain it to me, Jesse.
15.
He wouldn't put it in with the queen jack when there was 700,000 out there, and now he's putting it in with a 4 deuce when his opponent is obligated to call.
I think his hat's too tight.
Well, here comes queen 8-7. He needs a deuce or a 4.
Clubs are super live.
Or 2 running clubs.
Oh, you guys really good.
Or 2 running cards to make a straight. But
I know I have a little bit of chance. A straight 2 can come on.
He has been a pleasure.
Well, the last time he got up and put the backpack on, he hit the river card and he sat back down. And he's gotten to this point.
Look
That's
at
6 at clubs. What a card.
That's the World's Fair now. Look at this, 43%.
Well,
he's got like half the deck.
He can catch a deuce, a 4, a 7, or deuce, a 4, 5, or a club. He didn't do it. Ace of spade comes off. That's going to do it for Phil Laak. He's going to go out in 3rd place.
He's a Premier League player through and through. One of a kind, Phil Laak.
Thanks, you too.
We lose Phil Laak in 3rd place. That's $175,000 for the final table, plus his points, minus the buy-in is $108,000 total profit here. You do seem a bit phased, though, Phil.
I am phased. I kind of left my brain for a minute and played some pretty horrible poker. I mean, you can't call with 11 or 12 big blinds, whatever I did with queen high. You can jam, but I actually thought my match win chances were pretty dismal anyways with and that's a great hand that has a lot of punch against a pair or, you know, ace 4, but I mean, in the end, I'm not even getting the next 2 cards value in case he has a pair of 3s or something. So it's pretty horrible play to just call. But I really wanted to see possibly to extract survival value. I don't know what I was thinking. See, that's bad poker. You got to know what you're thinking. And I kind of wasn't on a few hands.
We started with 16 players. We are now down to 2. Only one will be crowned champion.
We are heads up here at the final table for Season 5's Premier League Poker. There's only 10,000 chips different between them. Scott Seiver, tournament specialist. How you doing here? How you feeling?
Feel great. Happy to make it heads up. Hopefully just close this out.
And Jungleman, Daniel Jungleman Cates, we know you best being online cash player, playing for a big trophy here as well for a tournament. How do you feel?
I feel pretty good. It's nice to make it heads up, which is my specialty, so I'm good. Feeling pretty good, yeah.
Okay, well, let's get this underway. Let's go back over to your commentators, Jesse May and Mike Sexton.
When you consider the roster of the 16 names who started out this Premier League, both Scott Seiver and Daniel Cates have nothing but pride right now, and they should feel nothing but pride, Mike, just to reach this stage.
Well, both tremendously successful at their young ages. Scott Seiver won the WPT World Championship last season. He also won a World Series of Poker bracelet. The Jungleman, of course, well known for online play, winning multi-millions there. And it's going to be fun to see how this comes out. They're starting out virtually even in chip count.
I know this is
It's
your
all
specialty, but
about
I'm
the trophy,
not the worst.
though, that lies between
Holy
these
kind
two
of
players
players,
on the
you're the
table.
worst.
Both these
Gotta go for
guys,
glory.
they know they're poker players. They know they've won and are gonna win millions more.
80.
But Mike, you know yourself, those big pieces of silver, they don't come around so often, and they also last forever.
It's true. Money comes and goes, but titles, that's what you remember years from now, even if the money's gone. Well, Jungleman makes the call right here with the 7-3 of clubs and flops a pair of sevens. He's got bottom pair. Jungleman, as you can see, has the best hand right now, but he folds.
No idea how much respect I just gave him.
I mean, he calls with a 7-3, flops a pair of sevens, and gives up the pot.
Disrespect. You just
Wow.
asked me for it, really.
Well, not only,
I mean, you know, you could put your opponent on a 10, but he still just got a drawing hand there where your sevens would be the best hand. I mean, if you flop a pair with a 7-3 and you don't play the pot after that, I mean, what were you hoping to flop there?
Jungleman, and maybe it's his turn, he feels, to start picking up a few hands.
Well, he's done it here.
Call.
He's got two sevens all in and called, so it's a race situation. The Premier League title could come down to a race. If Scott Seiver wins this pot, he'll be our champion. Jungleman out front right now with the two sevens.
I have to choose how to play this.
Very tough to separate these two. Seiver has about $500,000 back, but nearly all the money in this tournament's in the center with fickle cards of fate to come.
Well, a massive pot, as you can see, 2.1 million. Scott Seiver will have a little less than 500,000 if he loses this pot. And doesn't look good for him right now as it comes 10-10-4. Two hearts on the flop. Seiver does have a heart, but he's looking for a paint right now, and a big paint. A heart does come on the turn, so Scott Seiver can win with a king, a queen, or a heart, as long as it's not the 7 of hearts.
It's always going to be on the river, if it comes at all. Or is Jungleman about to salute?
Here comes the river card. It's a king. Scott Seiver has outdrawn the Jungleman on the river to win this tournament.
As Tony G would say, it's the butcher. The butcher on the river, and for Scott Seiver, that little bit of luck affirms his elite status. Mike, he has been a superior player, well deserved from start to finish.
After 4 grueling heats and a stellar lineup on the final table, Scott Seiver is our champion for Season 5's Premier League. Scott, it seemed like there was a different style when you came into the final table. It was a little bit slower, and then you really stepped up the aggression towards the end. What was the strategy there?
I was just waiting for cards. I didn't really get good cards. People were playing very aggressively. There was a lot of action. I was just trying to pick my spots, and then things started coming together, and I got in a groove, and it felt good.
And Daniel, this is certainly a unique tournament with the league format and the point structure. What was the experience like for you?
It was a lot different from my usual tournament experience. It played more like a sit and go than an MTT, a multi-table tournament, and also the point system was really strange. There are a lot of implications of that I didn't realize, and I actually made a really big mistake. Probably actually a couple really big mistakes that normally I wouldn't have made.
Now, Scott, you've won big events before. This lineup here for the Premier League was our best yet. So what does it mean to you to win this title?
I'm just happy to win. More importantly, I'm happy that I think I played well, and that's what matters to me in the end. I feel I can rest easy knowing if I play well, and winning or not. If I thought I was playing poorly, that's what would bother me. So I'm just happy I played well and that the cards fell right, and that's what it takes. You have to get lucky to win these things, and I got lucky, so I won.
Well, I would like to invite Mike Sexton, the WPT host and the member of the Poker Hall of Fame, on to present the trophy.
Well, thank you, Carrie. Scott Seiver, you're a World Poker Tour champion, a World Series of Poker bracelet winner, and now you're a Premier League champion, and a very deserving one. Congratulations to you.
Thank you. It would be absolutely huge if I could come out on top of Premier League 5, and to get yourself to the top of a tournament of this caliber and strength just shows that not only am I able to compete with the best in the world, but I'm able to shine as well.
It's for real money. It's really serious stuff.
Nothing quite like having the second nuts. So sick, so brutal. Cards are gonna be flying off the table soon for Dan. Serious times, serious measures.
My business is business, man.
Respect, show me the respect.
Come on.
Call. You have to get lucky to win these things, and I got lucky, so I won.